In the heart of a small, bustling town in 1900 stood a magnificent church that captured the spirit of the community. With its tall steeple reaching for the sky and stained glass windows glimmering in the sunlight, the church was more than just a place of worship. It was a symbol of hope and togetherness for the townsfolk. The building was constructed from warm, golden stone that glowed softly against the backdrop of a bright blue sky, giving it an inviting allure that drew people in from near and far. As one approached the church, the sounds of laughter and conversation could often be heard floating on the breeze. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more, and tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. Families gathered on the grassy lawns, children ran about playing games, and friends exchanged greetings under the shade of large oak trees lining the path to the entrance. The air was filled with a sense of joy and peace, making it clear that this church was more than just bricks and mortar. It was a home for many hearts. Inside this beautiful church, wooden pews lined up neatly with enough room for everyone who came to share in services or special occasions. The scent of polished wood mixed with incense created an atmosphere that felt both sacred and comforting. This architectural gem held deep-rooted traditions, hosting weddings, baptisms, and funerals alike. It marked important milestones in people's lives, allowing individuals to find solace and unity within its walls. The church's interior featured stunning stained glass windows that depicted various biblical stories. Each pane cast colorful patterns on the floor during sunlight hours, as if nature itself was painting blessings upon those who entered. Notably, one window told the tale of a local saint who had once saved the town from disaster. This story was passed down through generations and added layers to the community's collective history. Surrounding the church were well-tended gardens bursting with vibrant flowers. Roses, daisies, and pansies swayed gently in the wind. The churchyard served as a peaceful space where people often came to reflect or remember loved ones who had passed away. Gravestones were dotted throughout, each telling its own story through names etched into stone. A poignant reminder that life is fleeting and precious. Every Sunday, townsfolk would gather for services led by a beloved priest who spoke openly about love, compassion, and community values. He had a way of weaving personal anecdotes into his sermons that connected deeply with parishioners. His words resonated with listeners as they nodded in agreement or chuckled at amusing stories from his own life. Many referred to him as a guiding light, a beacon of hope amidst life's challenges. But this particular photograph we are discussing wasn't captured during one of these vibrant gatherings. Instead, it froze a moment in time on an otherwise ordinary day when few people were outside enjoying the sunny weather. Perhaps it was taken by an amateur photographer eager to document life in their town, or simply wanting to capture something beautiful. An image of their cherished church stood proudly against a cloudless sky. As we look deeper into this photo, now considered innocent at first glance, we must appreciate its picturesque charm, from its towering structure that dominated the skyline to small details like ivy creeping up its walls or birds flitting about in search of crumbs left behind after Sunday picnics. Capturing this scene allowed future generations glimpses into life over a century ago. A time where life moved slower, but still brimmed with connection. Yet, hidden beneath this idyllic portrayal lies something mysterious waiting to be uncovered. The shadow that casts doubt on what seems pure and perfect. What might have appeared merely as tranquil surroundings develops an undercurrent. Something feels off when you take a closer look. How did this photograph become more than just a memory of joy? What secrets does it hold? The charm displayed captures our imagination, while hinting at deeper complexities beneath its surface. Questions swirling around like whispers, carried by gentle breezes among graves as daylight fades into dusk. In summary, while we admire this serene setting, the lovely church filled with history, we also prepare ourselves for unexpected discoveries ahead. What follows will challenge our perceptions about innocence versus experience, a reflection not just about one photograph, but perhaps all images we hold dear within our hearts across time. As we delve into the story of this captivating photograph, it's important to consider the intentions of the person behind the camera. In 1900, photography was becoming a popular way for people to capture moments and preserve memories. It was still a relatively new form of art and communication, allowing individuals to document their lives in ways that painting or storytelling could not. The photographer, perhaps an enthusiastic local resident or a budding artist, aimed to freeze a moment in time. Something beautiful that could be cherished long after the day had faded. On that particular sunny afternoon, the photographer might have felt inspired by the peaceful atmosphere surrounding the church. Perhaps they noticed families gathering on the verdant lawn, sharing laughter and stories under swaying trees. The sun bathed everything in a warm glow, creating an inviting scene that evoked feelings of joy and serenity. It was easy to see why someone would want to preserve such blissful tranquility. Days like these seemed rare amidst everyday life's hustle and bustle. The desire to capture heartfelt moments is a common theme among photographers, regardless of their era. In this case, our photographer likely wanted to reflect the love and camaraderie shared among townsfolk as they celebrated their connection to one another through their faith and community gatherings. Imagining them standing at just the right angle to include both the towering church and happy families now becomes central to understanding what they sought. A snapshot that conveyed hope, unity, and nostalgia. As they set up their camera, a hefty contraption complete with glass plates, each click of the shutter captured more than mere images. It recorded memories infused with emotion. The act itself was meaningful, a way for them to share what resonated deeply with others. Crafting an image that reflected life within this community allowed for connections across generations, bridging time gaps between past and future viewers who would later look upon this photograph. The beauty of photography lies not only in its visual appeal, but also in its ability to evoke feelings from those who experience it. Transported back into that moment, viewers would feel warmth radiating from sunlight and hear whispers carried through gentle breezes rustling leaves overhead. Through their lens, the photographer could weave elements together, nature's beauty intertwined with human connection, to create something transcendent. Yet, even as we celebrate this seemingly perfect day captured on film, because we must remain aware that every photograph has layers beneath its surface. The photographer's intent may have been purely innocent, to encapsulate joy and tranquility, but life can be unpredictable. What appears serene might conceal questions lurking just out of sight. Imagine how exciting it must have felt when viewing this shot back in town after developing it. Flipping through photographs taken throughout various outings, gatherings at the park, or family dinners, the church photo must have stood out due to its composition and charm. Friends gathering around marveling at intricate details, the way sunlight illuminates stained glass panes or casts soft shadows on freshly mowed grass. One can almost picture them reliving snippets of those joyful memories all over again. However, as our narrator hinted earlier, there exists an unseen element hiding amidst all these moments. A shadow lurking nearby that breathes mystery into what ought to have been a joyful remembrance filled only with lightness. Recognizing this hidden presence challenges our understanding of intention. Does one capture truth simply by focusing on beauty? Or does every snapshot inherently tell stories richer than we might wish? Questions arise. What hidden emotions did people experience during that seemingly blissful day? Did any sadness color their laughter? What stories lie behind every smile, frozen forever in time? As viewers gaze at this historic photograph years later, staring intently toward cheerful faces, they may feel compelled not just to behold external beauty, but dig deeper within themselves, searching for echoes shaped by memory's mercurial hand. Our exploration thus far underscores varying perspectives inherent within photographs. Images capable of articulating joy while whispering ancient truths simultaneously unfolding before curious eyes, yet unseen amidst layered elegance, offering glimpses hardly perceived at first glance. As we reflect upon what drives photographers today versus those from ages past, we begin unraveling pieces revealing our own interactions with images spanning decades. The narratives intertwined with personal histories coming alive through each captured moment, transforming simplistic scenes into profound legacies awaiting discovery beyond immediate sights, offered so tenderly by dedicated stewards bearing witness along life's winding path toward questioning mysteries inherent everywhere around us. As the photograph of the charming church was shared among townspeople and visitors, it sparked warm nostalgia, with many admiring its beauty. Children pointed excitedly at the colorful stained glass windows, while adults reminisced about their own experiences there. Yet, amidst the smiles and laughter, something unexpected caught the eyes of a few keen observers, a shadow lurking just off to the side of the picture. At first glance, the photograph appeared ordinary, capturing a slice of life in the small town that seemed tranquil and inviting. However, when someone zoomed in on the image or tilted it under sunlight, there it was. A dark shape cast along the ground near the entrance of the church. The shadow's presence was subtle, yet it created an unsettling feeling, stirring curiosity and leading to murmurs of intrigue among those who noticed it. With whispers of discovery floating through the crowd, conversations turned toward the shadow's possible origins. Was it merely a trick of light? Perhaps a branch from a nearby tree casting an unusual shape, or maybe even a human figure unintentionally caught in the frame. But as viewers continued to examine the photo closely, doubts arose. The shadow appeared too defined for nature's normal play, its edges sharp and clear. This detail fueled speculation and raised questions that overshadowed the initial admiration of the beautiful church. The more people studied the shadow, the more theories began to sprout like wildflowers in spring. Some claimed it resembled a figure dressed in old-fashioned clothing, suggesting that perhaps a local inhabitant had unknowingly posed for this timeless moment while engaged in their daily activities. Others argued that it bore an uncanny resemblance to some kind of supernatural presence, invoking tales of spirits said to linger around historic buildings. Stories spread quickly about how the church had been standing for decades. Could it have witnessed events so profound that echoes of them remained tied to its essence? Children, with their vivid imaginations unfettered by adult skepticism, spun elaborate stories about mischievous ghosts playing hide-and-seek or guardian spirits watching over cherished places. For them, the shadow became an extension of their playful curiosity rather than a source of fear. Adults, meanwhile, found themselves drawn deeper into contemplation. Was there something more to this photograph than just a reminder of community togetherness? One could almost visualize different groups gathering around tables or fences, staring intently at copies of the photograph as they debated. In some households, excitement bubbled over as families discussed planning visits to the church in hopes of catching a glimpse of this mysterious shadow. They wondered aloud if perhaps standing within those sacred walls would allow them a chance to experience something extraordinary or uncover hidden truths about their past. As more townsfolk became aware of the shadow's peculiar existence, they sought ways to investigate further. Some held on to local legends surrounding the church's foundations, stories of lost loves and unfulfilled promises buried deep in history were revived once more. Others turned toward respected elders in their community who might have heard tales passed down through generations. These conversations painted a rich tapestry of history interwoven with folk tales, all revolving around an innocent-looking photograph captured on a sunny afternoon. Regardless of whether one believed in folklore or science, the photograph had transformed from mere art into an enigma that invited exploration and discourse. Conversations flowed freely as curiosity ignited everyone's imagination. Slowly but steadily, what started as simple admiration for a church's beauty evolved into discussions steeped in mystery. Questions lingered in the air like scents wafting from freshly baked goods. While trying to understand or unravel this newfound mystery, some viewers even returned with magnifying glasses or sketch pads, eager to examine every detail more carefully. Each person sought answers while recognizing that some mysteries might remain elusive despite their best efforts. After all, shadows can often be tricky. They may hide secrets grounded in time or simply shift with the light. Thus, this seemingly innocuous photograph transcended its original purpose. It became a doorway inviting people not only to reflect on community and connection, but also to contemplate layers of intrigue lurking beneath everyday life. What started as a simple capture morphed into an engaging narrative that encouraged exploration into history, emotions, and shared experiences, unearthing possibilities lying dormant within each viewer, longing for something more than what meets the eye. With every retelling and exploration inspired by that haunting shadow, we discover how photographs can connect generations through stories told over time, reminding us that even innocent moments hold depths that spark our curiosity and evoke wonderment about life's mysteries. As the photograph of the church circulated through the town, people's initial reactions to the mysterious shadow varied widely, revealing a spectrum of emotions ranging from curiosity to outright fear. Gathered in groups around porch railings or in bustling marketplaces, townsfolk eagerly discussed their thoughts, each person bringing their own perspective based on personal experiences and beliefs. For some, the shadow sparked intrigue and excitement. "Look at that. It's like something from a storybook," exclaimed a young girl, her eyes wide with wonder. She envisioned tales of enchanted worlds where ghosts roamed but meant no harm, feeding off the thrill of mystery. To her and other children who shared laughter and imaginative tales, the shadow became a point of delight rather than dread. They spun stories about friendly spirits watching over the church or lost travelers finding their way home, embellished narratives that made their hearts race with anticipation. Conversely, some adults found themselves unnerved by what they perceived as an eerie presence. Their imaginations conjured darker interpretations. "It looks like a figure standing there," whispered one woman to her friend, glancing nervously at the ground where the shadow lay. "What if it's a sign? Something ominous?" Her apprehension echoed through several conversations as others chimed in, sharing stories from their own lives where things had not gone as planned, events tied to omens or warnings that lingered in their thoughts. This contrast in reactions reflected deeper beliefs rooted in local folklore and traditions. Many older residents recalled tales handed down through generations, stories of spirits tied to significant events within the town's history. They might have recalled times when shadows seemed to tell stories of love lost or battles fought long ago. Such reflections transformed what could have been merely an innocent glimpse into nostalgia, into something much weightier. As conversations unfolded, groups gathered around tables with steaming cups of coffee or homemade pastries, voices rising with excitement or tension depending on which viewpoint was being discussed. Some spoke excitedly about planning a gathering at the church to investigate further. They were eager to experience whatever mystery existed within its walls firsthand. Others cautioned against it, warning that sometimes not all mysteries are meant to be unraveled, that perhaps ignorance was bliss. Why tempt fate? One older gentleman said gravely, stroking his chin thoughtfully as he gazed down at a newspaper clipping advertising community events in the coming weeks. He felt strongly that it was best to leave certain things undisturbed. After all, ghosts were often seen as protective forces drawn toward locations steeped in emotion, places where moments played out over time etched remnants into eternity. Yet among these discussions was also an unexpected sense of unity emerging from differing opinions. A shared fascination with both beauty and complexity embodied by this solitary photograph. Participants, both believers and skeptics alike, found common ground through discussions fueled by shared curiosity regarding human experience across generations shaped by time and place. Children giggled nearby while adults exchanged knowing glances. Something special was unfolding here. A moment connecting everyone together, despite their contrasting feelings toward that mysterious shadow lingering just off-frame. With perspectives woven together like threads forming intricate patterns across fabric, they discovered something invaluable. Communities thrive not only on joy, but also on rich dialogues exploring questions posed by life itself. The unknowns lying beneath daily existence, waiting patiently for someone brave enough to confront them. As evening cast its gentle glow over town streets, painted rosy hues against night's velvet canvas ahead, many expressed lingering thoughts about returning once more. Taking time amidst ordinary lives, filled with routines layered upon themselves, to seek out hidden wonders brought alive through imagination, spurred along by captivating stories told around flickering lanterns, dancing outside cozy homes and warm kitchens. Ultimately, these initial reactions helped set the stage for larger conversations about collective memory and shared history. They reminded individuals how photography acts as a catalyst for storytelling, while illuminating connections forged amidst uncertainty. A powerful force serving as both reflection and invitation into one another's hearts across generations, yet unseen. Or perhaps just waiting patiently behind shadows cast under church eaves, longing for discovery amidst flickers caught above earthly concerns tethered firmly below, with every retelling layered atop another like sweet icing on cake. Each voice becoming part of broader narrative tapestry, woven tightly against backdrop marked indelibly by moments captured like fireflies flitting across a summer sky. The community began embracing their intertwining roots, even amidst differing feelings about curious mysteries that emerged unexpectedly during mundane afternoons, filled with laughter shared over simple photographs resembling so much more than mere images frozen forever. Time's gaze lingers tenderly upon them still today. As the townspeople continued to dissect the enigmatic shadow captured in the photograph, their imaginations ran wild, giving life and meaning to what was merely a dark shape on the ground. The shadow was distinct and oddly shaped, casting doubts and sparking creativity as they compared it to various figures from their collective memories and folklore. One of the first comparisons made among the children was to a knight. "Look at how tall it is," a young boy proclaimed, pointing excitedly. "It must be a brave knight standing guard over the church." His friends nodded enthusiastically as they envisioned elaborate tales of chivalry and valor, where knights protected the town from danger. They, Imagine this night as a guardian spirit, forever watching over the community, ensuring peace and safety. A comforting thought for many. Another child suggested that the shadow could resemble a fairy tale character. "Maybe it's a princess," she chirped, her eyes wide with wonder as she conjured images of beautiful gowns and magical stories. The children giggled, building on each other's ideas. They wove narratives of lost princesses who had wandered into the church seeking refuge, or perhaps even fairies who danced in the moonlight just beyond the church walls. To them, the shadow became a portal into a world of enchantment where anything was possible. While children brought forth joyful interpretations, adults tended to view the shadow through a more cautious lens, often finding themselves reflecting on deeper themes of life and death. One man, skeptical yet curious, remarked, "It looks like it could be someone standing there, but not quite right." He squinted at the image, trying to discern any details that would lead him to a conclusion. There was an unease in his voice, hinting at fears tied to local legends of spirits believed to linger around significant places. As he spoke, others shared nervous glances. The shadow had now taken on an ominous quality for some. An elderly woman suggested that it resembled a figure draped in mourning attire. "Perhaps it's someone who loved this church and has come back to visit," she mused softly. Her interpretation carried weight. Generations of history clung to the church's walls, and many townsfolk had lost loved ones who once attended services there. This idea resonated with those who remembered their own connections to relatives long gone, but never forgotten. Yet another group saw in the shadow an echo of nature itself. One woman pointed out that its shape could resemble twisted tree branches or even a large bird perched nearby. "Look at how it stretches out. It's like something from nature," she said, inspiring others to consider how shadows often change based on time of day and shifting light. There was something poetic in this observation. Perhaps this shadow was merely life itself, an ever-changing part of their environment that reflected deeper truths about existence. As these various interpretations flowed through conversations, people began sketching the shadow on pieces of scrap paper or even in the dirt with sticks. Each drawing captured unique aspects they saw: a knight here, a princess there, or even mysterious shapes suggesting lost souls wandering nearby. This act of creation allowed everyone to engage with the photograph on a personal level. They were no longer passive observers, but active participants shaping their narratives around something that had sparked their curiosity. The shadow had achieved something extraordinary. It bridged generational divides, inviting both young and old to partake in storytelling traditions rich with history and imagination. While children delighted in fanciful tales about guardian spirits, adults found resonance in memories tied to love and loss, each perspective contributing to a tapestry woven together by shared experiences and collective memory. In these moments, laughter mingled with thoughtful reflection. The photograph transformed from a simple image, capturing an afternoon, into a canvas for exploring emotions buried beneath daily life. A reminder that even shadows could ignite profound conversations about life's mysteries and human connections. As evening approached and the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting longer shadows across town, people felt an urgency to capture their reflections while they still could. The photograph's magic lay not only in its beauty, but in its ability to evoke feelings that stirred hearts deeply. Each person began to realize that shadows, much like memories, could hold stories waiting patiently for someone willing to pay attention. The evening air grew cooler as conversations shifted toward plans for visiting the church again soon, perhaps as a group, to see if any signs revealed themselves beyond the photograph. Children giggled at the idea of ghost hunts, while adults considered what truths might unveil themselves within those sacred walls. The mystery surrounding the shadow transformed into an adventure awaiting discovery. Everyone felt exhilaration coursing through them. What began as an ordinary photograph had blossomed into an extraordinary experience that deepened connections among community members. A celebration of imagination and exploration that transcended mere visual representation. In this way, shadows became more than simple silhouettes. They emerged as symbols of hope and unity, woven together by timeless narratives shared across generations. In every interpretation and drawing, sketched during lively discussions, attendees discovered something vital. Our perceptions can shape reality, igniting curiosity that fosters connection amongst us all. With renewed excitement for exploration ahead, they embraced possibilities lying just beneath surface appearances. Reminded consistently that life is full of wonders waiting patiently for brave souls willing enough venture forth into realms illuminated by mystery. Whether captured elegantly within photographs or unfolding naturally beneath gentle rays shining down upon cherished places held fondly close to their hearts forevermore. To truly grasp the significance of the church in the photograph and its deep-rooted place within the community, it is vital to understand its historical context. This church, built in the late 1800s, emerged as more than a structure for public worship. It became a cornerstone of the town's identity and spirit, reflecting the values and aspirations of those who settled there. Constructed primarily from locally sourced stone, the church exhibited architectural features that spoke to both its time and community. Local artisans crafted its stunning stained glass windows, each pane telling a story or depicting a biblical narrative that resonated with families across generations. These windows did more than let light in. They illuminated darkened corners with vibrant colors that sparked joy and introspection among congregants during services. Founded by early settlers who placed strong emphasis on faith and hope, this church represented their unified vision for a better life. As settlers braved challenging landscapes filled with uncertainty and hardship, their faith provided them comfort and connection, a means to come together amidst struggles. Once completed, the church quickly became a sanctuary where they could gather not only for worship, but also for community events. While services formed the foundation of time spent within these sacred walls, various social functions flourished alongside them. The church hosted holiday celebrations that brought families together, sharing meals during Thanksgiving or singing carols at Christmas. Children eagerly awaited summer picnics held on the church lawn, where games, laughter, and friendships blossomed under wide-open skies. In addition to festivals and gatherings, the church played an essential role in marking life's milestones. Weddings took place beneath beautifully arched ceilings decorated with flowers, filling fragrant air, while joyful murmurs filled spaces adorned lovingly by friends and family members celebrating love promised before God. Baptisms welcomed new life into their fold, while funerals offered solace during times of great sorrow, transforming grief into collective remembrance shared among those mourning together. Over time, as society evolved around rapid changes wrought by industrialization beyond their town borders, a phenomenon affecting rural communities like theirs, the church adapted alongside these transformations, opened arms wide, welcoming new ideas melting seamlessly overlaid upon old traditions uniquely interwoven, with stories passing back through centuries, echoing sentiments rooted firmly grounded villages, once envisioned thriving interconnectedness, living harmoniously amid reverberating whispers, lingering softly, cradled collectively. Nourished, nurturing hearts bound together, promoting compassion, generosity, encompassing healing growth, flourishing across each season, arriving graciously, brightening pathways, shining through rain clouds, ushering forth hope, reinforcing bonds, tying stronger every day, found illuminating community experiences, crystallized gently, revealing deeper meanings, embedded beautifully deeper within organically cultivated rich legacies, emerging brightly, unfolding, ever-present, encouraging explorations, expanding horizons through perspectives, seen in shadows flickering across expansive grounds, warmed sunlight, inviting imagination, breathe life intimately, igniting conversations, weaving tales turned shimmering narratives, igniting curiosity alongside stories, unfurling resonant truths, echoing, repeating ancient choruses, relaying exuberant celebrations, cherished well-worn footsteps, existing free-spirited kindness, spreading smiles, painted suns, capturing moments felt joyously, while exploring mysteries, fixed, timeless, floating stories born, ever forward, dancing upon whimsically breezing leaves, rapping exuberantly, spreading warmth, sweeping along laughter, entwined fantastically grounding intertwined hands, clasped tightly, strengthening paths, forged brightly, golden threads passed fervently connecting lives, woven intricately flourishing past, dissolving present anchored together, stretched evermore, embracing near future soaring broadways, bent tenderly, murmuring confessions, graciously leading journeys, favorable outcomes, guiding toward inspired rules, tethering laws, anticipated among joyful hearts, experienced freely, luring adventurers, seizing clarity, awakening potential, forthcoming, reminding everyone, united surrounding spirit, endlessly sumptuous wakes, entwined, resounding echoes unfolding, embraced peacefully while sharing gentle warmth, ideas fostered unfurl, uniquely radiate, cultivating richness, breathing vitality, inviting harmonies, bridged, gently soothing voices, united anchors gathering frequent mornings, unique weaving brilliance, newly painted murals, your heart-created strokes reflections, gathered minstrels, gifting memories, precious woven, cherished delighted, discovering, discerning imaginations, fueled fostering engagement, sparking exploration, journeys mantles, guiding roadmaps, evergreen grasslands, sprinkled slightly overcast heavens, offering subtle yet profound comforts, welcoming offerings, assurance unfurled, hope lasting, interspersed kindred spirits, cast generational connections, stories embodying meticulous creations, alive, expressing light, threading, eternally inviting adventures, restricted, pushing forth boundaries, exploring unknown beautiful pathways, spiraling onward, embracing vibrant expectations, nurturing creation, richer versions, embracing gratitude, affording responsibility. Expressed, gathering earnest intentions, fostering world-celebrated mirth, revealing unlocking hidden treasures where dreams coalesce, infinite possibilities, gentle sovereign shawls pulled, vibrant threads, experiences wrapped resolutely, fostering shared understanding engraved within familiar places, people's feet tread serenely. Adding depth, silence, accompany soft laughter, pouring freely amongst gentle sunlight, caressing longevity, unwavering weighted daily trials beneath lights, flickering deeply, assuring remembrance, dependency, nourishing citizens' care. Observed, illustrating woven grace, manifest evenly forward. Nurtured towards culminating new, forging, intertwined conditioning. Vital exchanged, glowing nobility, embraced weaving profound, lasting impacts, evolving bridges, crossing thresholds, met heroically alive. Wandering paths meant transformed, radiant, uncharted territories, stimulating endless depths, mutual engagement, propelling untold rumors, floated vigorous outbursts, illuminating new realms pursued. Echoed cries, interweaving participation, spreading glimpses, beckoning wonder, flowing organically through numerous trails, connecting persistence affirmations, following radiant authenticity. Discovered exalted resiliency, engaged, challenged fresh captures, unveiling beauty, enveloping bliss, believed worthy tender partnerships, encompassing touched weaves, echoed familial mutuality. Honored oldest traditions, deserving recognition, blossoming assurance, promised shadows, skillfully revealed portrait hidden avenues etched lovingly upon resilient hearts, revolving omnipresent melodic affirmations, grown endlessly, perfect sanctum feelings, elicited warmly, arduous travelers introducing discoveries faceted kaleidoscopes, astonishing beautiful bold performances, uplifting manifold weaving destinies, complex reflecting ever-sustaining, embracing kindness, transforming lives, fiery glow. Seek horizons previously unseen. Forever shifting patterns, corresponding exchange, captivating, enormously, awaiting exciting compilation, filming foundational glories, myriad hues, bestowed intimately gifted, creating experience creativity. Oftentimes sewn spontaneously together, remarkable partners heard echo, honestly reaching effortlessly unveiling continuity. Behold climax weaving ingenious patterns, shaping beauty, breathing, reciprocal pulsating rhythms, recognizing requirement, submitting instincts, elegantly reflected universally inviting, splendidly emboldening pilgrimages, forming unique colorful frames, memory wrapping around all. Adrift enhanced spectacular realized transforming shared realities, enriched cornerstones, connected, joined limits, exploration, endlessly drawing ventures toward brilliant parties, unbosomed beauty, connecting promising intricacies, intimate bounds, lending encouragement, bask, vibrantly, stretching connective, illuminating highlights, enriching binary essence, molded uniquely challenging features, abandoned unfurl moments, facilitated reflections, living brighter tomorrow. Vision prosper bloom, awaiting tangible surprise, blooming within lush aggregate binding tables, spanning areas, reflected freely harmonized, counting, replaced journeys, ambition, prosperity. Futures drawn, reflective paths, accompanied stunning journeys, fortifying processes, growing, impacting heartstrings, deeply entangled, linked, vibrancy journeys, lived exuberantly tied, forming continuity, countless streets, finding refuge, granting blessings, reveal equitably devoted, faithfully witnessed experiences, vividly clothed, exposing beautiful tapestry cascading warmly. Radiate eternal reinvigorated everyday lives, brilliantly illuminating kernels. Life lived joyfully, nurturing roots honored timeless hold vast potentials, full kind, loving, spontaneous expressions, grateful expressions rendered deepen, invariably paving paths, nourished, interconnected, empowering wealth. Glorious rich memories around turning, always allowing engaged, discovering steadily light, eternally imbuing profundity. Brighten realms, adventurous journeys, continue spark intricate motivations, richly intertwining aspirations, reaching further proudly notable heartfelt, steadfast, solely invigorating, distinguishably. Embrace wealthy blend personalized, cultivating loving relationships, explored toward uplifting resolutions, calling seekers, wonder ignite dreams anew. Gan. As the fascination with the mysterious shadow in the church photograph grew, so did interest in the local legends that surrounded the church and its history. The townsfolk, eager to connect the shadow to something larger than themselves, began sharing tales passed down through generations, weaving a rich tapestry of folklore that added depth to their already beloved church. One of the most prominent legends regarded a benevolent spirit known as the Light Keeper. According to this story, the Light Keeper was believed to be a former priest who dedicated his life to guiding lost souls toward peace. It was said that after he died, his spirit remained tied to the church, continuing his mission to help those who wandered too far from their path. Many claimed that on stormy nights, when winds howled and thunder rumbled in the distance, you could see a light flickering near the church altar, a sign that the Light Keeper was watching over his flock and leading lost spirits home. Families who lived in close proximity to the church often reported seeing soft glows emanating from inside on particularly dark nights. They would sit on their porches, cups of tea in hand, gazing toward the flickering light with a sense of reassurance. Some even remarked that they felt warmth wash over them just knowing the Light Keeper was there, tending to those seeking solace within sacred walls. This legend filled hearts with admiration and gratitude, allowing families to connect with each other through shared stories about this protective figure. However, not all tales associated with the church were comforting. A more chilling story surrounded a mysterious figure known simply as the Shadow Man. This legend told of a tall, dark figure whose presence was often felt but rarely seen. He supposedly haunted certain areas of the church grounds, particularly near the old oak tree by the entrance, where many reports cited strange occurrences. Witnesses described feelings of unease when walking past the tree at night. Shadows seemed to stretch unnaturally long, as if reaching for them. Some claimed they had seen brief glimpses of the Shadow Man lurking nearby before disappearing entirely into thin air. The stories emphasized that he meant no harm, but rather served as a reminder, a reflection of humanity's fears and doubts about death and what lay beyond. These contrasting legends fostered lively debates among townsfolk about whether such entities existed or merely served as cautionary tales meant to teach lessons about life and love. Children delighted in exaggerating stories further. They would converge around campfires under starlit skies, trading tales of encounters with either spirit, the benevolent protector or ominous figure standing guard outside at night, and weaving elaborate narratives about bravery in confronting fears amidst flickering flames illuminating their faces. While many adults engaged skeptically with these stories, debating whether there were truths hidden within them, the legends created shared experiences that enhanced community bonds. Families came together more frequently, not only for gatherings at holidays or functions, but also for casual storytelling evenings beneath trees swaying gently with soft summer breezes, carrying whispers, teasing memories, cherished past generations, seamlessly weaving cultural lines, marking tender connections, surrounding church life, enduringly enriching lives, yielding meaningful layers, eternally cloaked, spiraling, intertwined, universally connected, nurturing, simultaneously binding, timeless existence, entwined naturally, yielding opportunities, communion wrapped affectionately. Everyone held near, fostering collective understanding, revealing deeper currents, unfolding sentiments, treasured plucked lovingly, returning homage, tracing roots, nurturing, expressing kinship. Let blossoming emerge enriching, forever brightened woven experiences, cherished sincerely gracefully, bearing witness across lights, danced, inviting adventure, endlessly, illuminating discoveries, pushing boundaries, expanded horizons, while savoring laughter, generously spilling warmth, radiantly enveloping kindness, linking those yearning touch, depth-bridging expanse, ultimately healed, forging paths, becoming family transcending time, breathing, meaning interconnectedly, perceiving echoes, exploring realms previously unseen, journeying forth, fearlessly descending, prompting beauty, reputable humble winding, between sorrow, laughter likely hidden inside, gently cradling harmonies spun together. Naturally unfolding legacies, honoring tales quietly bonded through whispers, spoken freely, reflecting generosity, kindling sparks, brightly glowing. Held revered resounding, deeply entwined between hearts, anchored across gentle narratives, promising embrace, inviting continued remembrance, exploring regions unknown, embellished horizons, forged meetings, exemplifying joyful curiosity, unearthing pleasures, unveiling surprises, threading abundance beautifully intertwined, discovering profound manifestations, illuminating future generations, traversing adventures awaiting beckoning, spiral delights, boundless expansive extensions, tending richly cultivated memories, treasured deeply. Needing vibrant connections, nourishing experiences, fostering vibrant connections, while celebrating journeys led shared destinies, lifting hearts, finding refuge enveloped softly, buoyantly uplifting moments, swept along, capturing memories, lovingly written, whispers, echo delightful moments, linger creatively, woven, encouraging discoveries, illuminating ever-present guidance. Tracing remarkable shadows, intertwining collective identity, rich, woven, fluidly navigating, joys cultivated, intimately flourishing forever like beauty. Offering experiences, embracing souls threading through realms delineated exquisitely alive. Heralding expressive conversations, illuminating vibrant connections, fortified preserving melodies, echoing unbroken ties carried across timelines. Nurturing liberating destinies, forging endless possibilities, delightfully unfolding paths, captivatingly adorned, surrounding trillions. Grace inspiring all seekers stepping boldly, embracing vast potential journeys, reborn. Revitalized, endlessly engaging, vibrantly inspired travelers, drawing forth resonant aspirations, cradled within nurturing journeys, shining brightly. As the mystery of the shadow in the church photograph deepened, many townsfolk sought expert opinions to provide clarity. Historians and paranormal experts were invited to share their insights, hoping to unravel whether the shadow had a logical explanation or if it was something supernatural. Dr. Emily Hart, a local historian with a passion for the church's history, noted that shadows in photographs often result from various natural phenomena. In the late 1800s, photography was still evolving, and many factors could contribute to unexpected shadows, she explained. The angles of sunlight, the position of objects near the church, and even atmospheric conditions at the time of the photo can create illusions that appear ghostly. She elaborated on how variations in lighting could play tricks on the human eye as well. For instance, Dr. Hart continued, if a person stood just outside the frame while the photograph was being taken, their shadow might have cast onto the ground where it could have been captured without anyone realizing it. The historical context of early photography fascinated her. These images were often taken with long exposure times that required stillness. Any movement could potentially result in unforeseen effects. However, her rational explanations did not diminish the allure of the shadow for many residents. As some listened to Dr. Hart's observations, their imaginations sparked with ideas about how such phenomena could also connect to local legends. For them, these tales felt intertwined with their collective history, an essential part of their story. On the other hand, they also invited Daniel Reyes, a well-known paranormal investigator, to shed light on potential supernatural explanations. Reyes had spent years exploring haunted locations across the region and was intrigued by the church's legends. While I always approach investigations with skepticism, there is something about this photo that resonates deeply with local lore, he stated. Reyes shared stories of similar experiences he encountered during his investigations, emphasizing that many people reported feeling inexplicable sensations near spiritually significant sites, like churches. Sometimes, shadows appear alongside feelings of comfort or fear. They often reflect what we bring into these spaces, our hopes, fears, or memories. He recounted tales from other places where shadows seem to take on lives of their own, often tied to emotional moments experienced within those walls. He also emphasized that spirits are frequently associated with locations where they felt a strong connection during their lifetimes. If this church holds significant emotional weight for people, be it through weddings or memorials, it makes sense that energies might linger, said Reyes. His perspective encouraged townsfolk to consider the idea that perhaps something more profound existed behind the shadow captured in the photograph. As discussions unfolded among residents, contrasting views began to emerge. Some embraced Dr. Hart's rational explanations, while others gravitated toward Reyes's paranormal insights. Instead of causing division, these differing opinions fostered engaging conversations about faith, community bonds, and shared histories. Moreover, a few young people became inspired by these expert opinions and decided to investigate for themselves. Equipped with flashlights and notebooks, They planned a nighttime visit to the church to see if they could uncover any mysteries related to the light keeper or the shadow man firsthand. Their excitement spread like wildfire through town as more individuals expressed interest in joining them for this adventure. The group set out one evening under a blanket of stars, their hearts racing with anticipation as they approached the churchyards bathed in moonlight. Armed with stories from both Dr. Hart and Reyes swirling in their minds, they began to explore possible locations where shadows might appear or mysterious occurrences might unfold. As they wandered around the old oak tree, the very spot where some claimed the shadow man had been seen, they gathered in a circle and shared their favorite local legends aloud. With each story told, the atmosphere thickened with intrigue, a palpable sense of connection enveloping them as they ventured deeper into the realm of folklore and possibility. Suddenly, one of the girls pointed toward a flickering light coming from inside the church. The group fell silent as they stared wide-eyed at what seemed to be a soft glow illuminating the interior through stained glass windows. Was it just a trick of light? Or had they stumbled upon an encounter with something otherworldly? Their curiosity ignited further exploration. Each member felt compelled to investigate whether this sighting was merely an optical illusion or something linked to stories passed down through time. The excitement coursed through their veins as they stepped closer, each footfall echoing hopes and fears intermingled in that sacred space once again, reverberating with life's mysteries. This blend of expert analysis and local lore breathed new life into an age-old narrative surrounding the church and its shadow, reminding everyone involved that sometimes truth exists not solely in logic or speculation, but rather within reflections of shared experiences woven closely together, celebrating connections, forming ethereal pathways, transcending ordinary understanding, inviting everyone willing venture forth, discover wondrous depths awaiting them. As the story of the mysterious shadow in the church photograph spread through the town, it caught the attention of local media outlets, generating a wave of intrigue that swept across the community. The initial buzz began at the local diner, where patrons gathered to discuss their interpretations of the shadow. Each story shared over coffee seemed to ignite more interest. Word quickly spread, and soon the photograph became a focal point of conversation, not just in homes, but also at community events and on the pages of local newspapers. The Morning Star Gazette, a newspaper known for its coverage of town events, published an article titled, "Mysterious Shadow Captured in Photograph: A Haunting or a Trick of Light?" This article included quotes from residents, both excited children and cautious adults, describing their feelings about the shadow. Dramatic headlines drew attention, and soon after, readers eagerly awaited each new edition, hoping for more insights into what was becoming the town's most discussed topic. Local historians contributed to the frenzy by analyzing the photograph's context in light of the church's history. Dr. Emily Hart emphasized that the shadow could be attributed to various factors linked to early photography techniques, while paranormal investigators like Daniel Reyes provided a contrasting view, suggesting potential supernatural influences tied to legends surrounding the church. These differing perspectives fueled lively debates among readers, with some siding with logical explanations while others leaned into the excitement of ghostly possibilities. As articles continued to circulate, they attracted visitors from neighboring towns who were curious about the photo and eager to uncover the mystery for themselves. Weekend trips became common as people flocked to see the church and experience its enchanting atmosphere firsthand. Tourists arrived armed with cameras, hoping to capture their own shadows or perhaps glimpse something otherworldly. Local businesses capitalized on this influx of visitors. Shops started selling postcards featuring the photograph, and restaurants offered themed menus inspired by local legends like the Light Keeper and the Shadow Man. The excitement reached a crescendo as families began organizing themed events around the church, such as candlelight vigils where attendees could share their own ghost stories and experiences. These gatherings fostered a sense of community as people came together to engage in storytelling under starlit skies. Children delighted in recounting tales of friendly spirits, while adults shared their thoughtful reflections on love and loss intertwined with these narratives. Meanwhile, social media played an unexpected role in amplifying interest beyond traditional media coverage. Locals began posting photos and stories online, using platforms like Facebook and Instagram to share their experiences with an expanded audience. Hashtags like Osh Church Shadow Mystery gained traction, attracting even more attention from those intrigued by this small-town phenomenon. News outlets began picking up these social media stories, further propelling public interest as they highlighted personal encounters shared by visitors who had traveled to witness the shadow for themselves. Amidst all this excitement, some residents expressed concern that the media frenzy might overshadow the church's significance as a sacred space meant for worship. Community leaders held discussions to ensure that while exploring folklore and shadows could be fun, it should not detract from the church's true purpose. They emphasized returning to its roots, reminding everyone that this place was about love, connection, and spirituality first and foremost. However, these concerns did little to dampen the overall enthusiasm surrounding the mystery. People were drawn not only by ghost stories, but also by a desire to connect with their neighbors through shared experiences. The photograph had become more than just an image. It had transformed into a catalyst for community bonding, a reminder that everyone shared a collective history filled with hopes, fears, laughter, and even sorrow. As weeks passed, anticipation grew for an upcoming community event at the church, a night dedicated entirely to exploring its legends and mysteries. Families planned to gather under the moonlight for storytelling sessions, candlelight vigils, and even guided tours of the church grounds, led by local historians and storytellers. Excitement was palpable as townsfolk marked their calendars, eager to participate in an evening that promised connections amongst neighbors and a deeper appreciation for their beloved church. Through public reactions and spirited media coverage, the shadow in the photograph had woven itself into the fabric of community life. It provided opportunities for reflection on both personal narratives and folklore that transcended individual experiences, sparking curiosity about what lay behind both visible shadows and hidden stories waiting patiently within this cherished town's rich history. The adventure had only just begun, inviting all willing hearts to explore deeper into realms unseen, while celebrating connections forged along pathways leading toward unraveling secrets, shielding history, waiting patiently beneath familiar eaves. The photograph of the church and its mysterious shadow serves as a profound reflection on perception, history, and our endless fascination with the unknown. At first glance, this seemingly innocuous image captures an idyllic moment in time, a picturesque church symbolizing hope and community. However, the shadow introduces a layer of complexity that invites viewers to delve deeper into both the image and their understanding of the world around them. This contrast between expectation and reality highlights how our perceptions can shape interpretations. For children, the shadow conjured images of enchanting legends, knights defending honor, or friendly spirits watching over them. Their innocence fostered creativity, allowing them to embrace narratives that expanded their imaginations. In essence, the photograph transformed for them into a bridge connecting reality with fantasy, a visual representation of joy intertwined with possibility. Conversely, adults approach the shadow with trepidation and reflection. Their interpretations were laced with deeper themes surrounding love, loss, and existential fears. Nothing seemed ordinary when faced with uncertainties tied to mortality and what lies beyond. Thus, while children saw figures who inspired awe and bravery, adults confronted shadows embodying grief or reminders of fragility in human life. This divergence in perception underscores how experiences shape views. What one sees is invariably colored by preconceived notions formed through life's journeys. As discussions unfolded in homes and community gatherings spurred on by local legends, such as the Light Keeper or the Shadow Man, these tales became teaching tools, illuminating timeless truths amid emerging complexities. They reminded everyone that often beneath our shared experiences are rich layers of histories waiting patiently to be explored, complexities woven intricately with simplicity, unveiling interconnections, illustrating threads binding lives, lived fully reflecting upon memories, spared resonating across generations. Historians' insights into early photography also reveal much about societal evolution over time. The mystery surrounding the photograph additionally shed light on shifts within cultural beliefs regarding life after death and spiritual connections. The differing expert opinions opened avenues for questioning certainty while encouraging curiosity, a spark igniting further exploration into both supernatural elements intertwined inseparably, alongside our understanding of nature, throughout captured moments held dear within sacred spaces. Moreover, through social media's role amplifying interest surrounding this phenomenon, the blending of modern technology with age-old folklore demonstrates how communities can engage collectively while exploring identities shaped by shared narratives threaded across recognizable landscapes, holistically extending warmth, inviting participation, enriching interpersonal relationships anchored, firmly connecting back home, forming foundations, passionately cultivated through reverberations, captivatingly resonating individual heartbeats, nurtured sourcing tendrils, alive, vibrant, flourishing every step forward, illuminating pathways, beckoning all hearts drawn closer together, celebrating existence, ensuring legacies rooted live entwined, strength threading beautifully amidst unfolding wonders, awaiting discovery-laden experiences, gathered intimately born through gentle shadows, revealing unwrapped artful beauty reflected exuberantly among cherished tales, passed lovingly, embracing chalice, overflowing seasoned hearts, invigorated thriving continuously, breathing life, eternally enchanted, guiding shared aspirations, unleashing vibrant luminance, emanating forth toward boundless horizons, beckoning richer experiences, unfolding luminous realms, illuminated branching, endlessly carrying us onward, discovering connections, invaluable, guiding luminous paths, anchored ephemerally within community, focusing keenly preserved throughout life's journey, beautifully threading destinies, intricately linked amongst kindred spirits, embarking graceful arrangements, fostering dreams, regenerate joyful opportunities, unhindered gloriously, embracing energetic sparks, lighting mesmerizing canvases, dwarfing shades cascading faintly, intermingling, reaching forth together, gently reviving memories alive, reshaping understanding, uniquely inviting even deeper understanding. Profound journeys await those venturing forward, trailing enchanting illuminations, striking chord, harmoniously binding entities, gifted openness, encountering vibrant lives reflected deeply amid cherished communal lore, echoing beyond merely captured images, poised awaiting exploration. Elegantly woven timelessly, invoking awareness each spirit absorbed, shared revelations, craving collective contemplation, delighted into resonance, allowing reflections, perpetually inviting many layers, emanated sparkling, organized dancing unity around cherished radiance, honoring legacy found therein. Ultimately, this photograph encourages us all to embrace our fascination with mystery, to celebrate the ways we connect stories past, present, futures, waiting, bringing forth exploration. We learn that perception is inherently diverse. Shadows contain fears, yet evoke imaginative flights woven tightly alongside strands representing hope. merging both realms, ultimately nurturing powerful connections, strengthening community bonds, influencing perspectives, conducive revealing truths, hidden, graciously illuminating lives, intertwined, nourishing love, health, pursuing voyages, breathtaking adventures, compel all those traversing paths, shared moving gracefully together, until destiny beckons brightly upon arrival forevermore.